Level 1313.
Catch a deep breath. It'll be the last fresh air you'll get for a while.
Fresh air is overrated.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 cancelled games that had the potential to be great. Sadly, gamers never even got the chance to play some of the most promising new titles and IPs. Games that could have sold millions of copies and even jump-started new franchises. Too bad we'll never get to experience these titles since they were all cancelled before they even had the chance. Did we miss any games that were cancelled before their time in the spotlight? Let us know down in the comments. Number 10. LMNO. Steven Spielberg may be a titan in the film industry, but even with successes in video games like Medal of Honor and Dig, sometimes his attempts are just too ambitious for their own good. LMNO would have centered on the player's budding relationship with an escaped alien named Eve from a government-run facility and their subsequent attempts to recapture her. The game wanted players to develop an emotional attachment to Eve, all while using parkour movements throughout the environment to escape her pursuers. The player's decisions and actions would have affected Eve's relationship to the player as the story progressed. Not much else is known about the title, which was seemingly quietly cancelled, and most information about the title was only recently unveiled in a no-clip documentary about Arcane Studios. Number 9. Mega Man Legends 3. Sadly, this is another in a long line of video game trilogies that will never be finished. The first two entries in the Mega Man Legends series gave gamers a different view of the famed Blue Bomber, both from a gameplay perspective and a switch from 2D to 3D. The Legends series still maintained its run-and-gun gameplay the series was known for, but also featured an expanded moveset for Mega Man himself, allowing for more open exploration throughout the games. The series gained a modest following, and a third entry in the series was announced for the Nintendo 3DS in 2010. However, shortly thereafter, series creator Kenji Inafune left Capcom, and though development was still set to continue, the game was ultimately cancelled in 2011, leaving fans wanting to see the conclusion to the second game's cliffhanger ending, forever dangling off the edge. Number 8. Starcraft Ghost. The Starcraft series is known the world over for its brilliant and fast-paced tactical gameplay and engaging story. And both games in the Starcraft series are even still being played competitively to this day. Starcraft Ghost would have been a drastic departure for the famed series, adapting a third-person stealth action-oriented approach instead of the series' usual strategic interface.
Why don't you come back here and sit with the real men?
Though many story details remain unknown even to this day, the released and subsequently leaked footage show off impressive stealth gameplay using a myriad of gadgets that would make Sam Fisher jealous. While a definitive reason has never been given to the game's cancellation, Blizzard's success with the World of Warcraft franchise and new consoles on the horizon at the time of the game's development on previous-gen hardware may have ultimately led to the game becoming nothing more than vaporware.
Let's roll!
Number 7. Star Wars Battlefront 3. To be clear, we're talking about Free Radical Design's Battlefront 3, not the recent EA releases, of which we're almost certain there will be a third entry sometime in the near future. The first two entries in the Battlefront series, developed by Pandemic Studios and LucasArts, were both commercial and critical successes, so naturally a third entry in the franchise was put into production. this time with Free Radical Design taking over for Pandemic Studios. The title had ambitions to push the series farther, both in terms of graphical capabilities and combat scenarios. However, it seems that the poor reception to Free Radical's most recent release at the time, the PlayStation 3 exclusive Haze, caused LucasArts to rethink their deal and cancel not only Battlefront 3, but also a planned Battlefront 4 with the developer. Number 6. Crank the Weasel. Long before Cuphead captivated fans with its 20s-style cartoon animations, there could have been Crank the Weasel. And of course, given the risque and frankly borderline nature of the title alone, the game would have been similar in tone to Conker's Bad Fur Day, with players filling the shoes of the titular Weasel, whose goal was to steal and cause as much chaos as possible to earn enough big-ticket items to earn a ride to Pleasure Island. The game was originally slated to release in 2003, but was cancelled without much explanation just shy of its launch date. Players interested in the title still have a chance to play a small section of the game thanks to lead artist Eric Browning, who released a short demo of the game on PC in 2017. Number 5. Prey 2.
Target identified.
The original Prey was a standout title for Microsoft's Xbox 360, with its portal-bending gameplay wowing gamers a full year before Valve's Portal stole the spotlight. Despite the game's commercial success, the series went dormant until 2011 when Bethesda and original developer Human Head Studios unveiled the game's sequel. Far more ambitious than its predecessor, the game featured an open world to be explored by a former US Marshal turned intergalactic bounty hunter after his flight is interrupted by the alien invasion of the first game.
Your reputation precedes you.
Although the reveal was well received, Bethesda eventually canceled the sequel, stating the game wasn't meeting their standards. There's a joke in there about Bethesda and their standards, and hang on, it was here a second ago. It must have clipped through the environment before I had a chance to tell it. While a new game titled Prey was eventually released by Bethesda and Arcane Studios, the title had no similarities to the series' previous entry. Number 4. Fable Legends.
Brave, noble, capable of self-narration.
One of the rare instances of a game being cancelled during its open beta. Fable Legends was originally planned to pit players against one another in an arena, with one player acting as the villain, setting traps for the 4 heroes invading the villain's lair in asynchronous multiplayer matches. The game had a long development, being announced in 2013 and eventually having a planned release for the summer of 2016.
You come in. Wherever you see.
The game had an interesting setup, but after fans had waited for so long for another mainline entry in the Fable series, response to the title was mediocre at best. Whether this lack of enthusiasm affected the game's overall fate remains unknown, but fans will hopefully have much more to look forward to for the series when Playground Games' entry eventually releases for the Xbox Series X.
Not all stories have happy endings.
Number 3. Scalebound.
Yeah, what the hell was that for? I'd get off if you'd ask me to. Use your words.
Hey, Microsoft, come here. I just want to give you a piece of advice. If your console is lacking exclusive system seller titles, maybe don't cancel the one that everyone is excited to buy your console to play. The game would have seen the player teaming up with a dragon companion. Let me repeat that. Your own dragon companion. who would fight alongside you to defeat the numerous enemies and bosses throughout the world.
What is that thing? We're under attack! Men, prepare to engage! Beast tamer!
It's more of them than I expected. You're up, big guy.
Developed by Platinum Games, most famous for Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, the title would have focused more on RPG elements than their previous titles and the bond that would build between the player and their dragon. Ultimately, the project was cancelled after being delayed, with neither Microsoft or Platinum Games giving a reason beyond they couldn't fulfill their vision. There's still hope as Microsoft owns the IP, but both companies seem to have moved on.
Hardly seems like a fair fight. Just one of you against all of us.
Number 2. Star Wars 1313. There are very few sure things in life and in gaming. Star Wars 1313 definitely had the potential to be a sure thing. A casualty of Disney's acquisition of the Star Wars license, 1313 was cancelled after its very impressive demonstration at E3 2012. The game would have followed a young Boba Fett before he became the legendary bounty hunter fans and the galaxy knew and feared. The demo featured Uncharted-style combat and climbing mechanics and very impressive set pieces as Boba's ship was attacked and destroyed during its descent to Floor 1313 of Coruscant.
Let's see how you feel about that after you get 1,000 levels down.
Of all the projects for Disney to leave behind in favor of their own canon, this one probably hurts the most. With Boba's successful return on The Mandalorian and even his own spin-off series, maybe someday we'll get the chance to visit Coruscant and find out what was waiting on Floor 1313.
The escape pod? What are you doing?
This guy's taking the express.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Mega Man Universe. Before Mario Maker, we could have created our own Mega Man levels. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Patriots. Fighting homegrown terrorists was scrapped and evolved into R6 Siege. Battle of the Sith Lords. Darth Maul's rise to power was cancelled by Disney.
It was all prototypes. It never really got to the point of it being a full-fledged game.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Silent Hills. It's not often you can catch lightning in a bottle, but the perfect pairing of Oscar-winning filmmaker Guillermo del Toro and industry icon Hideo Kojima teaming up to reboot the Silent Hills franchise is certainly one of those times.
You've been chosen.
Dropping the PT demo on the PlayStation Store during E3 and letting players find out for themselves it was sneakily a teaser for their vision of the franchise sent the internet and fans into a frenzy. Sadly, their vision would never come to be fully realized. After Konami's nasty split with Kojima, the game was cancelled and Konami immediately deleted the PT demo. Kojima went on to partner with Sony and form Kojima Productions, and Del Toro swore off game development altogether, believing any title he was involved with was cursed to fail. Thankfully, their vision inspired countless developers, and PT's influence is still felt in modern horror titles today.
In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on MojoPlays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.